Welcome guys, and today it's Tattoo Critique episode 4. Our first piece is from Julio Ramos, and he says, love watching your videos, would love your input. So these are the two that he sent in. Now real quick, I want to take a look at the first one, and really I just think that this demonstrates how you can make a really nice tattoo simply. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. The black's put in nice, the lines are good, the color's saturated and well there. I mean, just a well-rounded, nice, solid piece. Now for the second piece, we're gonna dive in and take a look at that one a little bit and see what we can do. So here we go. This is the piece right here. Now just taking a look at it at first, it's like, it looks pretty decent. There is some work that could be done here and there, but let's jump into what jumps out the most to me here are these lines. Now, of course, we all know, including myself, 100% know, lining is the toughest in a lot of ways, and it's one of the first things we struggle with, and sometimes we never get past it. So again, we have it up here too. These lines are a little shaky. Now, there are things you can do to mitigate this, some little tricks if you don't feel comfortable running those giant long lines that are sticking out there. The hardest tattoo in the world is a single line or a circle, if you ask me, because there's nowhere to hide anything. What you could have done, similar to what is up here, these little dots or whatnot, you could have designed this to where, you know what, I'm gonna have this line come up, I'm gonna have a space, maybe another dot or a hash mark, maybe another one to here, maybe a hash mark, something like this. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do this. This isn't very well thought out as far as design, but you get what I'm saying. Break things up for yourself in the design process so you're not even left with this issue of having to run these super long lines. Same with these dots. I've done some dots, and again, if you're not careful with even them, they can just kind of end up looking, you know, misformed or whatnot. Now, that is the line work. We come into the shading. The biggest question I had here was, what is this? I'm not sure what happened here. I don't know if this was supposed to be another leaf or something you just started, didn't finish. But nonetheless, I can tell where you're at. I can tell what you're doing. The shading is decent. I feel like if you just darken it in here just a little bit more and maybe leave a little bit more open skin here and there, it might give a little more of that contrast and smoothness that you're looking for. Nonetheless, I definitely think this is on the right road, especially telling by some of the other work you sent in. These are just a couple of my tips that might help you and maybe somebody else watching. Our next piece is from Pyromaniac 709. He sent in a few. 2 of them are on himself and 2 of them are on a buddy who just kept bugging him to be a guinea pig. Okay, real quick, if we take a look at this one right here, this was the first one he did. It's the wolf. Now you can see it's going somewhere. The line, sure, there's definitely some issues, but it's the first one. Things are happening, black's being packed in there, we're learning stuff. We go to another one that he's done. Again, it seems like when we're packing black, it's not too bad. Sure, those lines could definitely be better and whatnot, and that black could be packed, but we're learning, we're going somewhere. The problem I have is when we get to here. Now, when looking at this one, I definitely was like, wait a second, there's an issue. This is not how things are supposed to look. Now, when we got to this one is the real issue for me, and this is the one we're going to dive into. Now, the two we just looked at have the same issue, and I'm pretty sure I know what that is, but let's dive in, take a look, and maybe talk about a few things. Okay, let's start, and I always like to do this, start by what is done well. I will say that all this color, all this black throughout here is packed in quite well. So as far as packing black or even possibly packing color in general, you might have a pretty decent, you know, grip on that and going somewhere there. Lining, I would definitely still work at, as we all do. This definitely has some lining issues, as you can see popping out up here. But nonetheless, I think the real issue is right here. Okay, this is beat up. It is beat up. You're messing that skin up. You are overworking that skin. It is just angry. It looks bad. Definitely stop the whatever technique that you're doing when it comes to shading and just back off. Maybe watch a couple of shading videos. I'm sure you have, but I just want to point you in the right direction. So it seems like right now the most important thing for you is to get a grip on shading, because I believe that's what you were trying to do here. Put some, you know, a little bit of shading here and there. It's definitely overworked. So there's a lot of people out there making videos. There's a lot of information out there about shading. I should be having a video coming out in the nearest future. You need some shading practice. I would stop doing this. Stop shading people, tattoo shading right now, okay? because again, you don't need this. This is beat up. Up here you can see it's not quite as beat up, but it's there. Here, it's a little bit of everywhere. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, and I don't want to beat you up. I think that you have things going for you. I just think it's important to know where you need help at, and this definitely needs help in the shading department, okay? So I would take a break from shading people until you figure this out a little bit. I'm glad that this is on you. I'm glad you're practicing on yourself. That's so important, so important. Again, maybe a little bit smaller of a piece and work on shading. But you know what? Thank you for sending that in, and I'm sure it's gonna help somebody out there. Just a reminder, our tattoo guides are available. Links in the description, guys. We have been able to donate thousands of dollars to the Ashtabula County Dream Center. It's been awesome to see what they are doing. Again, links in the description. Next piece is from Joshua Sperry 88. Now Joshua didn't say anything, he just sent these two pieces. Now right off the bat, I really love this one. I like this a lot. I'm pretty biased towards it. I don't know, I just really like it. But let's dive in and take a look at them both. All right, I'm gonna start off with this one because again, I just really like this. I love these really like thick lines through here that really just are carried throughout the whole thing. In a realistic thing, you'd probably try to hide those or whatnot, but I love that it's bold and that it's well shaded. Heavy black in here, not afraid to use this black to play with the open skin and in the darks and whatnot. Same with the different sort of feel we get over here from this shading bits. Things are done really nice. Things are executed really nice here. I don't have anything real negative to say about it. I love this tattoo. I would like to have this tattoo. And again, tattoos don't have to be crazy over the top to be really cool to some people. This is really cool to me. I don't know. So this one I also really like. Now the reason why it looks odd, why this side and this side look totally different, and that is clearly because this is healed over here, this is fresh, this is fresh. You can see these little fresh bits, and you can also see the parts that are healed all throughout here. Now, when I first looked at this, I thought, wow, that's really cool, and I still think it's really cool. I certainly love these ribs or this spine that's over here and whatnot. The thing that kind of got me a little confused here, if I had to pick something out, would be this nose. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but it is a little bit confusing. We have this shadow down here, and it kind of... Now that's me getting really, really picky. Please don't get really, really picky with my work, okay? I'm just kidding. Nah, but I'm serious. The eye as well looks a little off, but again, I don't have the reference. This is me just kind of being nitpicky. You sent it to me, so I'm going to try to find a couple things that maybe you can go back on. Now, if you're like me, you finish the tattoo, you have all these key things you're worried about, focused on, boom, 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 and you executed those all great. I take the pictures, they leave. I show my wife like I do all the time. She goes, oh, looks really good. It's just that one spot right there. And it's like, what do you mean that one spot? There's things we just don't even notice. We're so focused on other stuff that we miss something that might be so obvious to somebody else. So with all of that said, I think these are both nice pieces. Thank you for sending that in. Our next piece is from Joey Hernandez. Joey says he's been tattooing for 6 months, not every day, not every weekend. We don't have fake skin in Belize, and I don't have a credit card to buy online. My name is Joey. Would like to know what to work on more. Well, Joey, first off, thank you for sending this in, and I'm sorry to hear that you can't get your hands on any fake skin, but there is good news here, so let's dive in and take a look. Looking at the piece here, I will say for 6 months, your lines are not too bad. Down here, a lot of this is pretty consistent. They're thin lines, but they're consistent. They're in there. Most of these throughout here, are there some issues with lines? Of course there are, especially when you get up here. You can definitely see a few of these spots that, you know, had to be gone over a few times maybe. You get a little shaky up through here. Two things could have happened here at the line work. Maybe you started at the bottom, you were at your prime, you got a little more tired as you went up. If this was on yourself, maybe you started off a little shaky because, you know, you're getting used to things, and then as you move down, things smoothed out. So either way, I see improvement in this piece. This down here I think looks better than this one up here. So whatever order you did them in, nonetheless, I like this one more than I like this one. Now with lining being okay and lining looking pretty decent down here, I move on to shading. There's some spots that look really good. Let's pull your eye to right down here. I like this piece. You get some dark tone here. I got a little bit of lighter tone here, dark. It just seems well shaded. We also have our bit of open skin right here. This leaf looks pretty decent as well. The leaves down here look all right. The problem is the shading is just a little harsh. It's a little, bam, put right there. It's like, here it is, and then it's gone. There's not a whole lot of blending going on. There's not a whole lot of from one thing to another. And I'm not saying everything has to have that, but something I would think about if I were you is taking that black and making sure you get that black packed all the way up to the line and then shade off. That's kind of what you're doing here, but I think you're just missing it a little bit. That definitely makes a big difference. And again, up here we have some haphazard shading here as well. It just kind of looks like it's wherever. I'm not sure if it comes down to a rushing issue, but again, if we come back down here, things look a bit better. So I really like that you have a lot of darks in here. It looks like you just need maybe some lighter shades to really sell this piece. Maybe like a 4-drop, even a 2-drop, something real light to just kind of get out here and finish off the blends, finish off the shades, finish off these little spots. So as again, I think your lining is definitely going places. I can see where it was not the greatest, where it improved a lot on this piece, whether that was one way or the other. But the biggest thing here for you is shading. And it seems like you're using a lot of those darker tones. Maybe work on using a little bit of some lighter tones. You can have those heavy blacks and those lights to really give contrast, but still make a piece feel like it's been fully, you know, shaded, if you will. So shading just needs a little bit of help. Lining's looking pretty decent, so you're on the road. I think you're doing pretty decent for where you're at and what you have to work with. So thanks. I appreciate you sending that in. Our next piece is from Jay. Now for this one, I saved the image and I forgot to save the email, so I don't know where that's at. But luckily enough, Jay has been a subscriber for a long time. I've been following his work. I've been seeing him progress, so I really have an understanding here of where he was to where he's going and what's in between. Let's waste no time. Let's dive in and take a look. All right, Jay, so here we are. It's been awesome to see your progression, your line work improvement, so many things. This one is a little harder for me to do as a critique because I've seen where you've gone and how you've gotten there and what's brought you to where you are today, and there's so much improvement. It's awesome. You're just on your way. Now, for this piece right now, I'm going to go ahead and do something real quick. I'm going to take the hue and saturation, and I'm going to just drop down the saturation. So it's pretty much just a basic black and gray now. Now, why I like to do this is because when you have a piece that is really red or whatnot, and it has still stencil, the purple and the stencil in there, it's hard to kind of see what's going on. So when you take that saturation out, you see everything in black and gray, and you can pretty easily see what is going on. So for me, I really do like this piece, and it's been great to see, again, where you've come. Maybe up in here, we can get a little bit softer with our shading. But again, that's kind of a nitpicky thing. I'd like to see that this kind of comes up, or maybe you just put like a really light wash across this just so it blends in just enough or something along those lines. Let's take a look at your lines. A lot of improvement, man, a lot of improvement. I remember seeing your work in the past, and while it was decent, I saw those little wobbles. You'd see the pickups here. I see far less of that. It's much more precise. But with this piece, what I would do is probably just intensify what you've already done. So let's just go ahead and do a little bit of real quick shading. So you see how this side is darker, clearly because he's looking, you know, somewhat of that direction. What I would do is just maybe oversell this. Now again, I'm just sitting here with this real quickly. You have it darker here, but let's go darker. I want to put your eyes where I want it. I want you looking right in here. This is the area I want to draw you into. And so I'm going to just make sure that everything else is just dark. When you did this, I just think that maybe a little bit more would probably sell it a little bit harder, and even a little over here too. Just kind of figuring out how to shadow his face over here. And again, this is all personal preference. As you can see, we're just kind of trying to put darkness in certain places, and this is what I do. I just kind of see if I darken that up a little bit more, what does it do for the piece? Does it sell it? Does it not? Does it hinder it? You know, what does it do for this particular piece? But I'm telling you, as a whole, as you have gone through this, I really do like this piece. So for this, honestly, Jay, good job. Just be a little more strong with that dark, and again, let those certain areas breathe. Figure out where you want your lightest spots to be, where you want the eye to be drawn to, and then make sure that is super legible, and the rest it kind of fades back a little bit, and that's what you do with that black. I could tell you did it. I'm just intensifying it a little bit more, and if I could, I would leave certain areas a little more open. But anyhow, Jay, thank you for sending this in. Thank you for letting me take a look at it, man, and I appreciate all the support you've given me over the past couple of years. If you would like to send your work in for critique, go ahead and email me at artmesomething@gmail.com. That's artmesomething@gmail.com. Thank you guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe, ring the bell to get notifications when we post. And until next time, peace.